or whatever has before 7 you communicate. कल मैं 5:30 6:30 क्लास लूँगा, 6:30 to 7:10 नसीन आरती करूँगा और उसके बाद फिर जब मैं पहले चलूँगा और बाकी गाड़ी में करूँगा, नहीं चला जाएंगे क्या ठीक है क्या है, फास्ट कर देंगे है ना, फास्ट करके सामने फिर मैं जाके मंदिर में सो जाऊँगा।
ड्राइवर
हाँ वो तो अजय का गाड़ी है, उसको तो मैं छोड़ दूँगा, उसके बाद ज़्यादा वही अजय अपना क्या नाम है, अजय को कॉमन कॉन्टेक्ट टाटा है इसको
लाइट
फोटो करना था, आज कर दिया था
चलेगा
है ना, छोटा ही
देख लेगा
अरे 3 दिन से टाइम पास हो रहा था ये फ्री के चक्कर में।
श्री चैतन्य स्थापितं येन भूतं स्वयं वन्दे श्रीगुरो श्रीगुरो वैष्णवः श्रीरूपं साक्षात् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साधवैतं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादा सहगना ललिता श्री नमो कृष्ण पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमप्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरवाणी नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत श्रीराधा नमोस्तुते तप्तकांचन गौरांगी शिरोधारेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि निराशरवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने परभद्र सुभद्रामनाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vācālam nandayate yat kripāsamaham vande Shri Guru Dīnapālinam. So today we will begin the final section of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that is Kim Rajet. How to engage. Take 63 today. 63 is basically a continuation of 62. I believe we did till 62 last time, right? 62 is covered last. 63 today. Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Sammoha smriti vikrama.
Sammoha smriti vikrama.
Smriti bhramsat buddhinasho.
Smriti bhramsat buddhinasho.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Srila Rupa Goswami has given us this direction. Prapanchi kataya bhutyam hari sambandhi vastunaha mokshuvi parityaju vairagyam falgutakam. By development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. Those who are without knowledge of Krishna consciousness artificially try to avoid material objects. And as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain to the perfect stage of renunciation. Their so-called renunciation is called falgu, or less important. On the other hand, a person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord, and therefore he does not become victim of material consciousness. For example, for an impersonalist, the Lord of the Absolute, being impersonal, cannot eat. Whereas an impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables, a devotee knows that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and that he eats all that is offered to him in devotion. So after offering good eatables to the Lord, the devotee takes a remnants called prasadam. Thus everything becomes spiritualized and there is no danger of a downfall. The devotee takes prasadam in Krishna consciousness, whereas the non-devotee rejects it as material. The impersonalist therefore cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation, and for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul, even though rising up to the point of liberation, falls down again due to his not having support in devotional service. In the previous purport, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the comparison between Lord Shiva and Haridas Thakur. So it is explained that Lord Shiva, he was being provoked by Mother Parvati and then Kartikeya was born. Whereas Haridas Thakur, Mahadevi allowed him, but Haridas Thakur did not touch. Just a few purports before, Srila Prabhupada was glorifying Lord Shiva in the purport, explaining how Lord Shiva is a Dhira. And although Mother Parvati was trying to attract, but Lord Shiva did not go. He is a Dhira. So the question is, how to reconcile these two contradictory glorifications? They appear to be contradictory. On one hand, Lord Shiva is a Dhira. On the other hand, here is a comparison. Lord Shiva got provoked, whereas Haridas Thakur, who is Lord Brahma, he did not. Get swayed off, or got swayed off. So the emphasis has to be understood. Srila Prabhupada is not making a comparison on personalities. Srila Prabhupada is making a comparison on processes. Lord Shiva is... So in this pastime where the highlight is there, Lord Shiva is depicted to be absorbed in yoga or meditation. So his profile at this stage is more like a yogi who is in samadhi and who is meditating. Whereas in the pastime of Srila Haridas Thakur, Lord Brahma is taking shelter of the process of bhakti, that is chanting the holy names. So the comparison is made highlighting these two processes. The process of yoga or samadhi or absorption or concentration or focus on one's own caliber vis-a-vis taking shelter of the activities of bhakti. And then Prabhupada glorifies the process of devotional service. And that's why the example of Srila Haridas Thakur is quoted. So in the last verse we were discussing about contemplation, that how contemplation is what leads to contamination and leads to entanglement. But the question comes is that how to avoid Dhyayatma? It is not an easy task to avoid contemplation. And that is why in the following purport, that is the purport today or the verse today, Srila Prabhupada describes that how the process of abnegation from the sense objects, which can also be called renunciation. Abnegation means abstinence. The process of saying no, shunning off the sense objects. No. So holding oneself. No. So this process of abnegation or abstinence cannot be artificially practiced. And therefore Prabhupada is giving the secret that what can stop Dhyayato is not running away, is not shunning away. But utilizing everything in the service of God. That is what can protect a sadhaka from the loop of Nyayadhyana. And that is the only thing which can stably save oneself from Vinashuddhi. So we see that many times the practice of yoga or the practice of bhakti may take a theoretical turn. So this theoretical turn is described here as Falgu Vedanta. So when it comes to this material world, theoretical formulas are not going to work. Many times, devotional service or bhakti is mistaken to be a theoretical affair. And therefore, what happens is that a sadhaka assumes many things. Which actually not having a solid basis or grounding or rooting, later on create volcanic eruptions in the heart. Later on create instability in the heart. Just like we have seen many times, some devotees come to Krishna consciousness and all of a sudden start showing symptoms of PDS. All of a sudden some Mahabhagavat starts appearing. And yes, it is only me and Krishna and me, and Krishna Prem, and Gaur Prem, and Radha Prem, and so on. So we have come across many such cases like that. We have heard about many such cases like that. Some of us have seen some cases like that. Some of us have simulated some such cases like that. So it's very easy to fake it. Material world is a process of faking. And therefore we see many times people don't have substance. But the winner is one who can show off. It's like many times in corporate circles, the one who can show off more work is a winner. Not that one who does more work. That's materialism. So everything is fake it. If you can impress upon others, then your thing will be done. It's a process of faking it. So substance is not given much priority actually in the material world. And what is given priority is that how well you can fake it. Sometimes in placements also, it's not that people have to know much, but you have to show as if you know too much. Because many times even the person who is interviewing, he also doesn't know much. Because he has also downloaded some questions from the net or has been given from his company catalogs and he has just read it, the questions and answers the night before and now he's sitting, okay, this is a question for you, So many times in Kaliuga, everything is superficial actually. So the examiner and the examined, both superficial, And therefore sometimes how a person gets job, I have seen some devotees case. Just because the person who is examining like the face of the person, being examined, so he just got in through, But sometimes the person doesn't like the face of the other person, so he rejects him through, So many such algorithms like that, you keep taking place actually. The process of material world is a shallow one. And therefore many times the same attitude just like I have seen even some professors, their criteria of giving how many marks or what is the performance is that how long you have written an answer. Like last semester I went to a professor, I said, sir, you have given only 2 out of 10. So I understand it's my mistake, I could have elaborated more, but what to do in computer science man, point to point man, So could have given more textual elaboration, I understand, my mistake, but please consider only 2 out of 10. He said, yes, you see the point is that, I gave a 5-page dictation, of this concept, and you have written only 1 page, Then he made a humble face, Then he said, okay, fine, let me consider. Then he was looking at the face, not at the notebook, Then he said, okay, you have been attentive in class. Then he increased 3 marks, Then he give and take. So superficial, actually. It's superficial. It's a fake-up game, Like that. It's superficial. So the problem is what? Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, the same attitude may be done. That instead of making it, one may fake it. And that's why initially what happens is that just like sometimes when devotees come to Krishna consciousness, they feel okay, everybody gets up at 3:30, if I get up at 2:30, that means, I am a little advanced personality. It's like, superficial actually. Sometimes one feels that, okay, if I can sleep at 11:30 and get up at 3, that is called as an advanced. So there is a tendency to get caught up into superficialities. And therefore the goal which one keeps, I don't see many devotees keeping a goal that, okay, let me read Prabhupada's books very nicely. Let me get to read the life of Srila Prabhupada. Let me get to read so many Prabhupada's books. But sometimes the aspiration comes, let me become a group leader. Let me have some post. So it's a fake game going on, actually. The drive is superficiality. So it's like switch on, switch off, It's like that. This way, that way. And that way slowly collapses down, Because there is no grounding. therefore what happens is that this you take it to a little more extreme, that is called as PDS. So sometimes there is a lot of artificial assumptions. And because of artificial assumptions, one may assume to be practicing many things. That no, now I am a devotee and therefore no. Devotee life means devotee life means no material livings. Devotee life means no material world, But one fails to realize that yes, next 80 years in life one has to be in the same material world. In the practice of Krishna consciousness, even the offerings to the Lord has to go through the roots of material roots. So the art is not to shun off material energy. The art is to learn how to spiritualize material energy. How to spiritualize material energy. So if one just says, "Ooh, I don't touch material energy," only there should be Krishna Katha and Krishna Naam, and only Krishna, So Krishna is present everywhere, but he is not so easily accessible. One has to dig out. Even during chanting, one has to apply and invest a lot of consciousness, a lot of energy, a lot of determination, a lot of prayers for Krishna to manifest more, or for us to be realizing that we are chanting also. Otherwise, sometimes the realization is also gone that we are chanting. Only some background music appears, not music, noise, Sometimes chanting appears to be a background noise, kya ho raha hai, Oh, chanting, Like that. So that means that one has to invest his consciousness. It is not so easily shun off. From here, access to spiritual energy is always a staircase from material to spiritual. And unless we make the staircase for ourselves, unless we help others make this staircase, there is no transcendence which is possible from material to spiritual. If one simply tries to jump in the air, he will jump up, but he will come down also. This is like sometimes people climb on a 2-foot wall, and they jump, and somebody else is taking the photograph. It is appearing as if one is flying. So that is not a flight actually. It goes as going down thing. Similarly, we see that superficially, to keep the senses away from the sense objects is not easy. Superficially, to keep the mind sense attraction is so strong that one can get sensual thoughts and desires even during chanting time. And in front is the deity of the Lord. Next may be spiritual master sitting. Back may be Prabhupada, and all around may be all Vaishnavas, and one may be thinking of sense gratification. Even while chanting. This is material. So what do we talk about? Material energy, and what do we talk about where we are? It's a completely hodgepodge scene actually. So therefore, the track to be followed is the track which is advised by the Lord. And the Lord says that yes, artificially, there is no point in shunning material energy because we cannot do it. It is not possible. Like sometimes some devotees, they take a vow, okay, I am very attached to sweets. Next 1 month I will not eat any sweet. And the next day only the sweet feast, So very painful, Or someone is really determined, he may go on, and then he's counting 27, 28, 29, 30. After that, he will eat the next day so much sweet which he has not eaten in 4 months also he may not consume. This is that. Because, like that. It is Falgu, So that becomes Falgu. Sometimes we will do service, so much service, no day, no day, no night, like that, So one day one may do like that, next 4 days one may sleep, 4 times, Because I had done so much of service, In the night, 12 o'clock I was doing service, So the point is that many times you will see these are all Falgu tracks actually. These are all Falgu tracks actually. The principle of engagement is therefore to be understood. One needs to know how to handle material energy. Everywhere there is material energy. Similarly, even when we are in the association of devotees, we are dealing with material energy primarily. Because the devotees are not devotees. The devotees are devotees covered over by their interesting material modes, which create animation in our lives, which create a lot of dynamism in our lives actually. So even when we are sitting with devotees, what we primarily are interacting with is material energy. Because what we primarily interact with is the modes of devotees and not the devotees themselves. Sometimes after we establish a great connectivity, and it all Vaishnava principles and all that, the spiritual nature comes out, devotees realizations comes out, and we get some, spiritual connectivity, like that. But most of the times we are interacting with the modes. So where is the question of shunning the material energy? Because even in the Sangha of devotees, we are dealing with material energy. Is it not? They are dealing with material energy. And therefore what happens is that one comes to the association of devotees, having some lofty aspirations or expectations that now have come into a spiritual world. And here it's Krishna's place, and Krishna is here, and spiritual world is here, like that. And after 1 year, one is thoroughly frustrated, 100% frustrated, and pierced and scorched and burnt and bruised by the devotees. And one is seeing all wounds. अरे इतने wound तो बाहर भी नहीं मिले ना? Because see what happens is that the point is what that material world. What happens is that it's like a sword game, Materialist is a sword game, So what happens when two people have sword? They don't go near each other actually, but they show a sword from distance only, You've seen people out there do sword fight, Mostly they show sword to each other, that way, And they're just going round and round showing their sword. So material dealings are very much like that, Hey! Chidi me karna, so then the other person is also telling, no, my values follow the wrong. Lekin, kya hai? I need reciprocation. Kya hai? So both of them are showing the swords to each other. They're not coming close at all, So that much of bruisement or burning or piercing does not take place, Like that, But devotee, what happens is that devotees don't show their swords, Like that, They don't show swords, So you go near, devotees, They directly poke, So you go near, प्रभु जी क्या है? हाँ बताओ मुझे बुरा मत मानना, मेरा ही तो ईड है, मार दिया ये poked me, So therefore what happens is that sometimes when we get more burnt out, pierced in devotee association because there is no show of game. Only when you go near, it's direct walk up. So मेरा need है, तो नहीं सारे पहले ही दिखा देना था दूर से, समझ जा रहा है. नहीं, we are taught ना being humble, ना. So this is Falgu actually. So we have to understand that we are dealing with material energy everywhere. And therefore, when there is this material energy takes fierce shape, or she takes horror shape, then one should not get too much put down. What is going on? Is this the association of devotees? Is this Krishna's mission? Prabhupada's mission? Yes. But between the missions, sometimes there is intermission of the modes and the material energy. So the nature of material energy is like that. Just like, one time I remember, my parents were forcing me, you should watch TV. I said, no, kya hai TV? You read Bhagavatam with me, come here, both of you. They said, no. We always watch Astha channel, that we will play and you have to watch. I said, no. Then they understood, this fellow is little, not listening. Then they said, okay. And then they told me, this time, Krishna serial will come, that you have to watch. Nothing doing. So I sat down. Krishna serial, I thought, okay, fine, Krishna. Fine, little Krishna, big Krishna. So I sat down watching. And then 1 hour serial. They said only 1 hour, that's it, nothing else. All of us will watch. So all of us sat down, with some groundnuts, having a nice time. Krishna serial, So what used to happen was that 5 minutes some Krishna scene will come, and after that next 10 minutes will be advertisement. And all bogus and So one time I tolerated, again 5 minutes Krishna, some pastime, what was ever continuing. And after that again 10 minutes ads, So I tolerated for 40 minutes, And in 40 minutes only, I think 15 minutes was the serial. And remaining was all these ads, And after that I got fed up and I closed the television. I said, this is not Krishna serial, this is advertisement serial. Like that. So, material world, our dealings are very much like that. So sometimes we say, no, this is association of devotees. The spiritual setup. One is okay, spiritual setup, like that. So some pastime will be enacting out, but in between the ads start coming, material mode start displaying the ads, But the problem is that material world, the ads are more than the substance, So therefore, many times a sadhaka, going close to devotees sometimes, one may experience lot of runs in the sangha of devotees. So how to reconcile and understand? We have to understand these are not devotees, this is their material modes which are present. And that person himself is also helpless. Because he himself cannot control what is happening. Had he had the control, he would have reached on Bhava, Nishtha, whatever platforms. Because this poor fellow is not able to control, he is still one amongst us. Like that. That is the understanding which has to be done. So therefore, unnecessary assumptions and expectations based on assumptions that everything is only Krishnaized, spiritual world and Vrindavan. Even if you go to Vrindavan, you feel proud. Like sometimes Western devotees, they don't know what is Vrindavan, they understand, this spiritual world in India, there is a place called Vrindavan. And then it takes lakhs of rupees to come many times. sometimes it is said that if you have too lofty expectations, then you have landed up in the Delhi International Airport, Indira Gandhi Airport, and British Airways, and then you have taken an AC cab, straight to Vrindavan, and you land up in Vrindavan and you are seeing pigs, First darshan is, hogs, looking at, who are these weird personalities barging in, like that. And then a person is seeing everywhere there is dirt around, things are messed up, You go to some temples, people are trying to extract out more money, and so on and so forth. And the person will be wondering, what is this? And then we have heard some Westerners have come and the way they came in half an hour, 1 hour, 2 or 3 hours, they tolerated, and after that the same cab back and straight flight back, they don't know to come back. So this is what happens when one has these falgu assumptions. Lot of the spiritual energy is just spiritual. Spiritual is a process of extraction. Anything spiritual is a process of extraction. We have to churn it out. So when we go to Vrindavan, how do we get that spiritual embrace? How do we get that spiritual strength when we go to Vrindavan? Not by roaming around. First, the preparation of heart. And therefore many times you have seen devotees before Vrindavan Yatra, 1 month before they start reading Krishna books. Some of them complete the whole Krishna book. Some of them read the complete series of lectures of Yatra, past 2 years, 3 years, 2, 3 Vrindavan Yatras. So preparing the consciousness. Some of them start increasing their rounds. And with that consciousness one is entering. Then one understands, okay, I have landed in this association of devotees. I need to be very careful. To do what? To engage myself in service. Not to be spaced out. Not to be relaxing around. But yes, take some spiritual vows, okay, chanting more rounds, coming before time for class, offering some prayers, memorizing Vishnu songs, doing some extra services, meeting some devotees, taking guidance, so many. So then it should be a solid spiritual plan actually. And then when one is focused on that plan, and one is enthusiastic to churn it out, despite some other discrepancies which may be there in the yatra. There are too many people, so it takes long time, so much serving may not be there, and so on and so forth, and so many things are there. The accommodation may be a little more simple and things like that. But despite all that, to zoom out of that, see, material energy always remains, even in yatra it remains. So many devotees, 1.5 hours to take lunch, Early morning, 6 o'clock, you have to take breakfast, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, So sometimes it becomes, what is going on, Vasat quantity is less, sometimes you feel hungry, So all these aspects are there. So that means that wherever we are here in this material world, the material aspect never goes off actually. Where does it go off? Just like in the morning, Bhakti Maharaj was sharing his experience, meeting Prabhupada. So it's not that, okay, now Krishna is arranged a situation, me and Prabhupada now me and spiritual master, No, how many times he was checked, So then he was mentioning that, he wanted to enter Prabhupada's room and there was a well-built Western body, roadie, and he said, no, come in the evening darshan time, So then Bhavanand Maharaj, was taking him. So he was a little behind, and then the secretary, came and he said no. Darshan time. And darshan time he got late, no place to squeeze in. Finally he got squeezed in. And that's. But then what he is cherishing is whatever he got. Material factors were involved there also. It was not that he and only Prabhupada. And Prabhupada and he. And they had 6 hours, one-on-one, going on. Not like that. Is it not? So we see that material factors are always there actually. Just like sometimes you go to Yatra, there are 5,000 devotees, of which 3,000 are Mataji's. So sometimes, one will end up getting some reverse association, some reverse darshans, because spiritual master is not visible so much, others are visible too much, like that, And therefore sometimes some devotees become fearful going for yatras, They say, no, not yatra, Personally takes one baat hai, But we can see the video, very exclusive, Most of the time spiritual mastery or proper disciples. So the point is that very few material factors go away ever. And that is why simply if we curl the face to say, oh, material energy, cheap, We curl the face and look up, that doesn't solve the problem actually. And then we fall on the face in the same material energy, So the art is to go through it. The art is to go through it. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is teaching here. That yes, what we need to do is to learn how to spiritualize. And the way to spiritualize is that use everything in the service of Krishna. Use everything in the service of Krishna. So we see, okay, opulence is nearby, use it in service of Krishna. The moment we start holding on to things, things start creating problems. You get money, use it in service of Krishna. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't put it in FDs. Just like today Krishna is giving, tomorrow also He will give. Don't worry. You see, therefore sometimes you wonder why Brahmanas, they would get extra charity and they would give further charity. Whatever they need, beyond that further charity. One may say this is lack of intelligence. No, but this is powerful intelligence actually. Because you keep things to yourself, then you are keeping material energy to yourself. Prolonged contact, senses to sense objects, senses to sense objects, senses to sense objects. Then mind gets involved. Mind gets involved, mind gets hooked up. Mind gets hooked up, dhyayato vishayan pumsa. So this is true of anything and everything actually. And therefore, a sadhaka should be conscious that whatever should be, whatever he has, or whatever is there around, should not stay on for too long. It should be used, should be engaged, should be offered to Krishna. Should be offered to Krishna. So that art one needs to learn actually. Just like sometimes, one sees that the same principle may also hold even for people. You just keep holding on devotees. If one just keeps holding on devotees to oneself, my people, that my thing may become very prominent actually. And then slowly one may forget that I have to engage them in Krishna service, And some other services may start. Slowly like that. So sadhaka has to be very cautious. Nothing is my mind, Nothing is my mind. Therefore one needs to learn how to engage. Okay, if I have engagement, fine. The moment we realize, okay, I don't have so many engagement as the people around, you know? So then we approach others. You have some engagement, you need some help, there are people, take it. You need some help, there are people, take it, you know? Then we will say everybody is engaged, we are engaged, and we have to say, you need some help, take me also, you know? I am also little having some unengaged corners in my life, you know? So you can engage me, you know, like that. So very important to learn this art of Yukta Vairagya. We cannot avoid material energy. But we cannot hold on to material energy. Because the moment we start holding on to material energy, it starts molesting. Similarly, money. Hold on to that, it starts corrupting. Therefore, one has to learn the art of engagement. And that is why Prabhupada gives the examples of eatables. In this way, a devotee knows how to perform regulated enjoyment. Prabhupada is saying, whereas one other place Prabhupada says, these impersonalists, they will keep saying Neti Neti and they will simply torture themselves and they will get nothing out of that torture. That torture leading to more torture and that leading to nothing, you know. Whereas a devotee, he enjoys. And Prabhupada says, we are going to make fabulous preparations for Krishna, we will offer it to Krishna and we will have a big feast and enjoy. And like that, having a big feast and enjoying, we will go back to God. And these people, they will torture themselves and make themselves miserable and they will remain here. You know? They will go nowhere. You know? That is the path of Falgu Vairagya. So whenever we take things up on a theoretical note, we will see it becomes a torture actually. Because one is not just able to hold it. Like therefore, sometimes, some devotees say for example, one should be completely surrendered 100%, But that also becomes Falgu sometimes. Because it's not possible 100%. But tolerate for 1 time, 2 times, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, after that a volcano may explode, चलो जी, इतने सालों से मैं इतना सरेंडर किया, क्या मिला? Thank you, Vinay. Thank you. Yeah, it's like that. वो करना था मुझे. That was my dream. ये किया मैंने. तो that devotee will say, अरे वो भी मुझे चाहिए था. बता देते तो वो दे देता मैं. मुझे क्या problem था? Sometimes it's as simple as that actually. The mission requires 25 things, like that. And if the mission requires 25 things, then you can choose. There's no problem, Okay, if the mission is requiring only one thing, then you do that one thing, no problem. But most of the time the mission requires so many things actually. So then, you say unnecessarily then surrender, it becomes Falgu actually. So therefore, I say, so Dayanapur makes a very interesting and very nice and profound statement. He said, therefore, who is what level of advance, and who is speaking on what advancement level, and what vision is on which advancement level. It's very difficult to find actually. And if you unnecessarily theoretically try to do it, we land up into some illusory fields, by the name devotional service, and we are in some other plane and doing something else. So Dayanapur makes a point. He says, therefore, what should be mission? What should be service? What we should do? How we should move forward? Let it be logical and reasonable. Let's base it on simple logic and reason. Why to? So when we make fanatic assumptions, this is what Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said 20,000 things, Every time you hear from Prabhupada disciples, you will hear new things what Prabhupada said, Every letter of Prabhupada you read, you will see new things what Prabhupada said. If you count, it will cross 20,000 things, 3 folio, you keep counting, how many letters, In one letter, Prabhupada says 2 different things also sometimes, Prabhupada said everything, practically speaking, How everything and anything, that is Acharya. But he said everything practically. And therefore, anybody has any bent of mind, Prabhupada did something for him. And that is why Prabhupada is out, Acharya. That's why we call Prabhupada as founder Acharya, actually. Because he said everything, actually. And when Prabhupada said everything, so this is, and so that is what Prabhupada said, how to utilize everything in this situation. And that's what Prabhupada is teaching. That's what Prabhupada is teaching. So this principle has to be understood and applied. Otherwise, one's whole practice will become unstable. So therefore the principle of Yukta Vairagya is what? So the principle is what? Or the lesson is what? We cannot fake it for long. We cannot artificially fake it for long. We may say some high-fi principle, we may artificially try to follow the high-fi principle. It doesn't remain for long. And therefore, step by step, we have to move forward. Just like we don't tell people to increase rounds abruptly, because we understand it's not possible. Somebody will say, no, Bhagavad Gita is studying 24 hours in Krishna. अरे नहीं होने वाला है. अच्छे को हुआ नहीं है ना. Which case we have come from, na? So sometimes, and therefore you see, Jayavadaga Maharaj like quotes, when he was chanting 30 round, Prabhupada said, bring it down to 16. What 32 rounds, no? He said, better go out and do restriction, better go out and preach. And he so happily quotes it so many times. So point is, nothing can be taken on a Falgu only. Purity Guru. We go to text 64. Ragadvesha vimuktastu Vijayanigriyascharan Atmavasher videyatma Prasadam abhigacchati. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy. So substance means mercy of the Lord. Unless the mercy of the Lord dawns in the heart, it is impossible to expose substance. And that is why the directions which are given. So here you see line B talks about Vishayan, Indriya is Charan. So Indriyas, what do? They move towards the sense objects. Charan means feet, Charan also means motion. Because feet means motion. Otherwise, what is the meaning of feet? So feet means motion. So Vishayan, Indriya is Charan. Indriyas, what do? They move towards sense objects. And then what to do if you move towards sense objects? And the moment you move towards sense objects, and sense objects are very near, and then they become dear. So when it is near, it becomes dear. And that's why it is said Atmavash. Beforehand only apply the principle of fear. Be fearful of material energy. So control. But control is not possible on the lines of attachment and aversion. And therefore, the line is saying Raga Dvesha Vimuktis. You cannot just apply aversion to control. Control does not mean aversion, actually. So very interesting actually, because it's not that superficial again. Okay, sense objects हटा दो, सपना ही नहीं चाहिए ना, होना ही नहीं चाहिए, दिखना भी नहीं चाहिए ना. But that's aversion, and aversion is just aversion is basically an announcement of attachment. Aversion is basically a proclamation of attachment. कि देखो मैं अटैच होने वाला हूँ, समझ गए ना, बाद में मत बोलना. That is what is aversion. Except times some devotees initial days the movement they would be very averse to Mataji's. You see Mataji's on the face away. But the same devotees they could not maintain. They were sannyasis and maybe like this type of behavior, very cut and rude behavior. Oh Mataji. But then the same devotees, they could not keep up. They got attached to Mataji. They married Mataji. Like that. So attachment and aversion is not the game actually. Both have to be shun off. One has to put aside attachments, one has to put aside aversions actually. That is the platform of stability. That's the platform of stability actually. So bhakti should not be mistaken as aversion. Aversion is the game of naiti-naiti, which is impersonalism actually. It's not bhakti, and therefore it is not stable. So just like sometimes we see just like sometimes you see a child, say suppose a child wants to play. So he is very attached to playing, he is very averse to studying. Both one has to give up. Attachment to playing has to be given up, aversion to studying has to be given up. And suppose now somebody says, no, let us reverse the polarities. That will not last. It's not a stable configuration. It's like a child. He's okay to develop attachment only to studies. But the problem is he cannot study all the time. Nobody can study all the time. It's impossible game actually. So one cannot say, attachment there, aversion to playing. It's not possible. So the solution is what? Follow the Shastras. Follow the directions given by Guru Sadhu Shastras. So what Guru Sadhu Shastras will say? Regulate it. Study a little more, play a little less. And study a little more, play a little less. That's all. So Shastras do not necessarily choke us on areas which we don't like. Shastras of Bhakti is not the process of necessarily choking us. Bhakti is the process of channelizing properly. Bhakti is not the process of suffocation. And I would have been like this, but what to do? I became a devotee. No, aisa nahi. When one becomes a devotee, what he would have been, he becomes that and much more than that. That's the blossoming process, not the process of suffocation. Not the process of suffocation. So this has to be understood. So Shastras will regulate it. Shastras will, and these regulations we have to understand, is not, these regulations are not a symptom or a manifestation of restriction, but they are a manifestation of protection. And whether it is restriction or whether it is protection, that depends on the perception. So perception converts, or perception is a control handle which actually flip-flops one's existence or one's understanding from restriction to protection or protection to restriction. Just like for a child, a mother's embrace, whether it is protection or restriction. It's protection. Why? Because the perception is proper. The perception is of love. Is it? But suppose some buffalo wants to come and embrace. Person may not feel like that. He may feel like running away. You know? Or some sand wants to come and embrace. You know, he's charging. Oh, please be there. That's not protection. So this is to be understood actually. Therefore, what is being said is that this self-control requires endeavor for the mercy of God. As long as so in the material world, don't focus on sense gratification. Neither look out for, so sometimes materialists what to do, they look out for sense gratification and they say, hurry, sense gratification, grab it. That's materialist vision. And devotee, what he does is that he also says, sense gratification, kick it off. तुमको किसने बोला है focus करने को उधर, no? Oh, you're looking out for sense gratification here, sense gratification there, sense gratification there. Why don't you look out for Krishna? So sometimes the sadhaka's profile becomes like that. He also takes microscopes and zoom in lenses and all that, and starts finding out sense gratification everywhere. Say, ये sense gratification, ये नहीं करना चाहिए, नहीं. Then he थोड़ा सा. This is the profile of a sadhaka, and therefore he becomes miserable unnecessarily. Who was told to be a monger of sense gratification? Why don't we change our value systems? So if the value system is sense gratification, any principle given in the Shastras will appear as a restriction. अरे मार दिया, ना? ये भी काट दिया, वो भी काट दिया, कोई बचा नहीं, ना? The restriction. But if the focus is service to Krishna, the focus is pleasure of Krishna. If the focus is okay, let me do something so that my resume can be considered for some application petition for some mercy. If that becomes the focus, then one is not looking for sense gratification. So sometimes the focus has to be very clear actually. That what one is looking for. What one is looking for. Just like we see, suppose there is suppose sometimes okay, so there is a building, electrical fencing all around, nobody can escape out, like that. So if one is not having the understanding, so now it's all perception actually. If one feels कि यहाँ पे ज़्यादा कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है बाहर में देखते हैं क्या होता है then one sees it as restriction. But if one understands here I am getting everything, no problem, so one feels protection, So in this way, and that is why Prabhupada describes Atma Vashir Videyatma. That's what Krishna is describing. One who follows the regulated freedom, regulative principles of freedom, we call it as. Why do we call it as regulative principles of freedom? एक तो regulative principle ऊपर से freedom, Because these regulative principles are pathways to freedom. Just like a patient cured takes medicine course, that's a regulated freedom. Person says, you are putting so many restrictions, you have put IV, you are not allowing me to eat fried, you are not allowing me to do this, do that, eat this, eat that. Point is, it's just a matter of 1 week. Now, how much one can eat? Even if one wants to eat in a diseased state, how much one can eat here and there? If one becomes healthy, he can do anything. So, healthy states lead to much more freedom. That's why it's called as regulated principles. It's a sign of protection. It's a sign of benediction because it helps us to focus. It helps us to focus. So therefore many times we have to understand devotee association also in that way. So Shastras never give us absolute freedom, Shastras never give us absolute suffocation. And we will see any process of bhakti, whether it is Sangha of devotees, Acharyas, visions, they will never give us complete freedom, they will never give us complete suffocation. Therefore sometimes when one stays in the association of devotees, what happens? Every now and then some or the other priority will come. Okay, Haribol, this is the priority now. So now what is the priority? That's the priority. And what is expected? You have to be, you have expected to be English and some Rathayatra services. This is not. No one will say, no. My nature is some other services, And that's all fine, That's all fine. There are many times when there is no calling. When there is no calling, you can make whatever call you want, When there is calling, it's like phone, Most of the time it's peaceful. When it is peaceful, you can dial any number and call again. But when already a call is coming, that time don't cut it and dial some other number. नहीं ये अच्छा number नहीं लग रहा है उठाओ उसको This is that. That's the point actually. So that we see, that's why we call association of devotees sometimes as a benediction. Because in that sense, if you understand, you will see that because of association of devotees, what happens is that we don't get absolute freedom. As simple as that. And that is protective. Because sometimes on a free note, we are in a spaced out zone and we are given freedom. When spaced out will become pulled out. So therefore, because there is association, if somebody comes in between and says, hey, come, we have Siva. So what happens? Our space out goes space in. That's how association. So we will see that therefore nothing in bhakti offers us absolute freedom and nothing in bhakti offers us absolute suffocation. And that is the right platform. Neither absolute freedom nor absolute suffocation. The absolute freedom kills, absolute suffocation also kills. Both are poisons. Right. So this is the point actually. So just like, okay, we can choose, now say for example, one can choose a service in charge, or one can choose, which devotee one will take guidance. There's a lot of choice available. So there is freedom available. But whomever you choose may appear attractive for some time, but he will administer the full package. But because you have chosen, you have exercised some amount of freedom. So there is no absolute suffocation. Like that. But because you have chosen, there are some regular differences which are going to come in. Like that. So this is the process. And if you don't have this proper understanding, you become unnecessarily wrong expectation and frustrations. Wrong expectation lead to real frustrations. Like that. And this lesson needs to be understood. Therefore, prasadam abhigacchati. One has to be a monger of prasad. Prasadam abhigacchati. And this prasad is not just Mahaprasad. This prasad means higher taste. That is Krishna's blessing in our life. And that we cannot achieve on our own caliber. No matter who we are, at what stage of bhakti we are, or whatever. That is prasad of the Lord. Higher taste. And what happens by higher taste? Krishna explains about. So the engagement should be for, so Vrajet, Kim Vrajet, where to focus one's energy? Endeavor for mercy. Hunt for mercy. Look out for mercy. Don't look out for sense gratification and try to say, here is sense gratification, here I don't have to go, don't have to go, don't have to go, don't have to go. Go on, Phalgu, That is called as Phalgu, Like that, bogus, Like that. We say wherever you are, even if one is fallen, one says, okay, where is mercy? Where is mercy? Hunt for that, you will get delivered. Not like that. And the mercy of the Lord is that He gives higher taste. And we'll just end on the next verse, which explains what happens when one gets higher taste. Prasade sarva dukkhana hani asyupajayate prasanna chetaso hiyasu buddhir parivartishtate. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. This is called a substance. That one's intelligence gets rooted and consciousness becomes very clear. This is what is supposed to be done. This is Krishna's creation. So one gets a very clear-cut vision when the mercy of the Lord takes place, when one gets higher taste. And by that, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. So what does that mean? Does that mean the threefold miseries go away? No. What it means is, by an example we can understand, just like say, so for example, a 20-item feast is made. 19 items out of the world. And one item intolerable. Sometimes it happens. In feast, most of the items are so nice, but few items are, it gives a full experience of hellish planets, what kind of feast take place, in that zone, like that. So now what happens that with 19 good items and you understand one is a dangerous item, don't take it, don't focus on it. थोड़ा बहुत लेना पड़ा समझने के लिए कि क्या है, कोई बात नहीं, tolerate it, it's gone. Focus on the other 90. So higher taste is like that. The material world remains the same, but the higher taste gives so much of positive experience that one says, इसको क्या focus करेंगे? Let me focus on the good feast items actually. That is the question actually, or that is the point. So therefore what happens is that, now the question comes is that, or now the point which comes is that, see what happens is that just like sometimes when a software is not installed in the system, then there is another thing which is possible. If you have internet, you can use the online version for some time. It is a demo online version which you can use it online. So you have to be connected first of all. There has to be a good connectivity. There has to be a very good connection available, 3G connection, a good 4G connection available, like that. And then you can use it for some time. Again you have to connect, sit down, see that you are connected and do some small amount of work. And then some small amount of work. This is how one has to go on. So, in a sadhaka stage what happens is that intelligence is not rooted. That means that intelligence, mercy quotients are not installed in the system. So what one has to do? One has to have a very good connectivity to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Take guidance from the Shastras, from the Acharyas, from the devotees, like that. Very strong connectivity. When you have that connectivity, that is like an online usage of, a particular software. And you use it, get some result, and you say, okay, fine, this is how I will lead. And you go on for some time, after that again some other thing you need. Then again you have to have good connectivity, get some result like that. So when we don't have installation, at least we should use the online versions. And the online connectivity is Guru Sadhu Shastra. And by this online connectivity, slowly Krishna will install that in our hearts. Krishna will install that in our hearts. So therefore for a sadhaka, intelligence for all practical purpose means remembrance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. So again, one should not go by superficialities. Just hearing is not the point. Hearing is good. But sometimes what happens is that some people just keep hearing. That's not enough actually. It's not just hearing. It's remembering. It's remembering actually. So hearing, applying, hearing and flying. That is the endeavor. And Krishna sees that, and those very components of vision gets installed in our hearts. And that is prasad of the Lord. And as we walk in Krishna consciousness, as we keep endeavoring, we will see different points of time Krishna offering this kind of prasad, and one can realize that, one can realize, just like you put some sweet in the mouth, you can realize it's ecstatic. Similarly, bhakti is pratyaksha avagama. One endeavors or hunts for the mercy of the Lord, and when that mercy is put on the tongue, one can realize this is the higher taste, Krishna's mercy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So tomorrow for a change, we will have class 5:30 to 6:30. 6:30 Mangal Aarti, followed by Tulsi Aarti. We go immediately to Guru Puja. For a change tomorrow.
Sunday Dwarka is Puja lecture. He was talking in same lyrics.
Yeah.
He was telling him and he was telling this. Sometimes newly married Grihasthas, the Prabhujis, they have this conception that my wife is Maya. Not that. Then Prabhuji tells that in many lectures that if you are not attracted to your wife, you will be attracted to someone else's wife. He was telling attachment to Krishna and detachment to him.
And that process has to be taken up, by increasing the service quotient to the Lord, offering utilization for Krishna's service. Artificially it cannot be.
True, but in this regard, why it is told then that first for Yukta Vairagya, Vairagya has to come.
Vairagya is step by step, So Vairagya means step. What is Vairagya? Vairagya means what? After first year, chupchap bag उठाओ voice के अंदर घुसो. That is called as Vairagya, Like that. Now what else Vairagya is dictated by voice, दिन में कहीं पे भी जाओ, 9 बजे वापस आ जाओ, That is Vairagya. 9 o'clock you have to leave all your cherished places and all your cherished association, come back peacefully and sleep. Maybe so आगे बैठ जाओ, That is Vairagya. Similarly, when you pass out, what is Vairagya? Vairagya means चुपचाप उठ जाओ और कलकड़ा जाओ, तो वैराग्य है वहाँ पे युक्त चालू करने का So Vairagya is only step by step. Therefore, the Shastra is so balanced. Sometimes the demand, अभी हो गया बहुत, आ जाओ And then after that you say ठीक है अभी जो करना है करो After sometimes you say अभी बहुत हो गया, आ जाओ Like they say okay, so what is Vairagya, After 3 years, 4 years, why you are working, चुपचाप resign मारो, you are related to parents, come back and sit in the temple. Those who are married, चुपचाप उठ के devotee girl से marry करो, बैठ के, and then see the Krishna. Right? So this is called as, Vairagya. So Vairagya is a step-by-step process. Other times we have to understand that it has to be, yukta. It is said, okay, morning program में उठ जाओ. That is Vairagya. उसके बाद सोना है सो सकते हैं, But just say थोड़ा minutes सो it's a balance. So different time, place, situations, different conditionings, different stages of life, different principles need to be taken. So similarly, when it is, when things are just slogging on, nothing is changing, that time one may have to take a step, and that may call Vairagya. Just like joining voice, one may have so many viewers, that पढ़ाई होगा कि नहीं, ये है कि नहीं, वो है कि नहीं, health का क्या होगा, parents को क्या होगा, I'm not telling them, career का क्या होगा, desire change तो नहीं हो जाएंगे, पढ़ाई का मेंटालिटी निकल तो नहीं जाएगा. At that point of time ज़्यादा युक्त नहीं. At that point of time one has to take a step. पहले तुम अंदर आओ, उसके बाद बात करो. There one has to apply vairagya. And there are many stages in life like this. So how to understand? Guru Sadhu Shastra will show us. ये भी आपका टाइम खत्म हो गया है, अभी आपका बहुत हो गया है. Enough. You have to take this one. And then understand. At this point of time, world situations, everybody is giving me signal. I have to take this one. Take this one. Actually, brahmachari join in time. So like full surrender, Astic Shiva, father was on platform. No? Now after taking the step, being in ashram for 1 month, जब ठंडा हो जाएगा तो लगा नहीं मैं ये सेवा नहीं करूँ, मैं नहीं कर रहा सेवा. Like that. These are my demands. No? तो फिर वो किधर गया वो आशीष शिवा फादर था आचार्य ये सरेंडर वगैरह वगैरह. That is the point. Sometimes that similarly everywhere is the principle. One needs to take a step towards this at some point. But it all has to be guided. It should not be missing. Otherwise it will become falgu.
5:30 to